All right, so this we can clearly see is an exponential function or exponential graph. So we just need to figure out which one of these graph represents this equation, which we can clearly see that this is in the format of y equal to a times b to the x plus c. Few things I kind of just want to run through here. We know that under both circumstances where a is greater than 1, I'm going to have an exponential decay when b is between actually 0 and 1. So that's going to be a decay model, and we know that decay model is going to look something like this. Also, if b is greater than 1, obviously a going to be greater than 1 under both situations. We're going to simply have a growth model looking like this. Now, the third thing that is important here is that y equal to c going to be my horizontal asymptotes. Very important that we understand that. So looking at this situation here, we know that the horizontal asymptote, obviously, because there's no c attached right there, it is understood that that is 0. So y equal to 0 going to be my horizontal asymptote, which is the same thing as the x-axis. So every one of these have the x-axis of the horizontal asymptote, and it is can clearly see that b is bigger than 1, so this is going to be a growth function. So now we have to be a little bit more specific now on how to identify which graph it is. Now, if I look at this thing carefully, I can figure out what the y-intercept is. So let's figure out the y-intercept first. So the y-intercept here, I'm just simply need to plug in 0 for my x value. So if I plug in 0 for my x value, that's going to be y2 times 3 to 0, which is here going to simply be 2 times 1, which is going to be 2. So my y-intercept is simply going to be at 0, 2. So 0, 2 here is going to be either there or there, so I can eliminate those two graphs. Now looking at these two graphs, now I just need one more point. I can clearly see if I put 1 right here, the corresponding y value look like around 6. So we need to check if that satisfies the actual equation here. So let's try. If I plug x to be equal to 1 in the equation, I'm going to have y equal to 2 times 3 to 1 here, which is going to be 2 times 3, which is simply going to be 6. So that's pretty much going to be my answer. And you can clearly see for the other graph right here, if I plug in 1, that's going to be 4, which is not what we get when we plug in 1. So A is my answer.